Alright, everybody, it's Infamous here, and I'm here with What If Deku Had a Transformation Power, Part 2, redo, I guess. Okay, so before we start, subscribe, like, share, everything else. Da 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 da. That's basically it. But let's start this What If already. When we last left off, Izuku had discovered that he was somehow given the power that allowed him to turn into 5 different heroes from other worlds. And we now cut to a week later. An Air Force jet can be seen flying to the sky of Japan. As the jet is soaring to the sky, the pilot turns on his radio. The route has been complete. Returning back to base. Set arrival at 0500. The pilot announced into the microphone. As the pilot is about to head back to base, he glances to the side and looks before looking back forward. He then does a double take, because right next to him is a man in gold and red robotic suit, flying next to him. What the hell? The pilot screams. He can only stare with the most surprised expression ever. Oh, my bad, I forgot you guys like your personal airspace. The man in iron suit responded. He then starts to turn and flies away. This man is Iron Man, aka Tony Stark. But that's only the body's name. Their true name is Izuku Midoriya. As Iron Man flies to the sky, he shouts, "This is amazing!" He then flies up towards the sky. As he goes past the clouds, his favorite posters started to sputter before they turn off. Gravity starts to affect Iron Man. He flips himself upside down and he starts falling towards the sea. Right before he hits the water, his legs repulsor turns back on and he takes a 90-degree turn, barely grazing ocean water. I'm never gonna get bored of this, Iron Man cheered. 5 minutes later, Iron Man is flying back home. As he lands, he sighs. Good, I'm home. I was worried about what would happen if I timed out over the ocean. Over the past week, Iron Man, or Izuku Midoriya, has found and wrote down the laws or drawbacks of his power. Rule 1. He has a time limit of 10 minutes. Rule 2. His time limit recharges 3 times faster. Within 3 to 4 minutes, his time limit has been stored back to 10 minutes. He can also use his power even if the time limit isn't at max. Rule 3. If Izuku switches between forms, an extra minute is shaved off his time limit. He can negate this effect by switching back to his original form and then transforming. Rule 4. When transformed, he will gain a basic understanding of the person's abilities and how to use them. But just because he knows the power doesn't mean he's mastered it. He still needs practice with it. Rule 5. When he transforms, he will suffer certain mental effects like enhanced intelligence, or more likely certain quirks. Things like short temper, an odd speech habit, a strange personality trait. Heck, he might even gain an accent or speak another language. As Ahmed walks into his apartment, you can hear his mother watching the news. The report is currently recapping the speech about the local Air Force has released. Something about a man flying at high speeds. As the door closes, Inko walks into the hall and sees Iron Man. She backs away a bit until she remembers it's Izuku. She then welcomes him home. Izuku thinks to himself that it seems like his mom has gotten more used to it. Izuku remembered how he showed his mom his new powers, and how she instantly passed out. Later, he spent hours explaining and proving that he was her son and not some imposter. But once in a while, she forgets and gets slightly scared. I mean, wouldn't you if you saw a stranger in your home? As Izuku turns back to normal, he walks into his room and lays down on his bed. He then starts to talk to himself. Am I causing mom stress with my new powers? I mean, isn't stress for a woman her age bad? Izuku then sat up and grabbed the book. For some reason, this book has all my forms. When I rip a page out, it automatically comes back. When I spill water on it, it instantly repairs itself. After I try to burn it, it didn't burn. What is this book, and what's with the title? Izuku closes the book and then grabs the nearby drawing. Miles Morales. He's kind of a good artist, but he feels like Miles would be better using a paper spray than pencil. But he doesn't know how he knows that. Izuku tried to sketch the blurry figure that he saw when he passed out, and was almost saved him. Izuku ever lived that day dozens of times, and dozens more times with Tony Stark's super intelligence. It had to be the person that gave him this power when he passed out. It couldn't be anybody else. He then sighed. He lied to his mom and told her that he randomly gained this power, but didn't tell her about the man he saw passed out, because he didn't want to worry her. Izuku stood up and looked around and thought to himself, maybe I can use my forms to help mom. I would probably help Mom to have people with super strength around lifting heavy stuff. But to be honest, he feels like his mother has been doing so much for him. Raising a quickly son all by herself must have been difficult. He then sighs. He turns his head and sees a bunch of posters of All Might, but they're in a garbage can. He was a fan of All Might ever since he could remember, but after All Might told him he couldn't become a hero, it was hard to cheer for him. Wouldn't you struggle to cheer for the guy you idolized your entire life, only for them to crush your dreams like it's nothing? Though he kind of feels bad since his mom bought those for him, and they weren't likely cheap. Most of them actually cost a lot of money. At that moment, Izuku had a light bulb. Money! That's it! He then grabs a book, but not a normal book. After Izuku found out about the book he found, all its transformations, and the basic knowledge of his transformation, it was called the Book of Heroes. As he turns the page, he lands on Tony Stark's page. As he reads his origin, or at least part of it, the book says, Tony Stark is a genius, billionaire, playboy, philanthropist, but what's most important is the genius and billionaire part. I think it's a good thing to himself. If he can use Iron Man's IQ, he can become a billionaire, and then he can support his mom and maybe even use his wealth to be a better hero. Izuku then transforms into Iron Man, and soon flies out the window. As he's flying, he thinks to himself, hope this works. Friday, are you there? Of course, boss. The voice belongs to a female AI inside Iron Man's suit. She sounds like a woman with an Irish accent. She seems to help him despite the fact that Izuku has admitted that he's not the real Tony Stark. As Iron Man flies, he starts to think to himself, and thanks to his super intelligence, he doesn't need to think for long. Friday, I need to check current stock markets and invest all my money in anything that will have an 80% chance of increased money. I use current media trends and news articles to build an algorithm. I started left to do that. What he just said, Izuku thought to himself, before I became Iron Man, I wouldn't have to understand a thing I said. But after transforming back, I lose my knowledge. My only theory is that it's because it's magic, but even that's far-fetched. As Iron Man lands, he looks around and sees a beach full of trash. Discarded electronics, and even a car which makes Iron Man do a small double take. When Iron Man looks around, he thought to himself, let's get started. Iron Man then started to collect trash, like cans. He then took them to the junkyard, and even though it wasn't much, everything helped. 2 weeks later, Iron Man is looking over his statistics. In the past 2 weeks, I've only made 50,000. That's good, but not good enough. Iron Man then sat down and looked at the beach. He started to clean it up. He wondered to himself, how could the beach get in such a bad condition? Like, why didn't anybody ever try to clean it? That's when Iron Man gets an idea. I'll create a program to clean the environment. Even though a few heroes and groups do it, and do arrangements to clean up, but there's no group with proper funding dedicated to it. Sure, it'd be a waste of money, but a hero shouldn't just save people. He also keep a city safe and clean. But the question was, how is he going to do that? I doubt people would just volunteer. A few would. But if I wanted a proper organization, he needs to pay people. As he started to brainstorm, Friday chimes in. Sir, I may have a recommendation. This got Izuku's attention. Oh really? Well, come on and tell me, Izuku responded. Why not create a dedicated company, company dedicated to clean up the environment? Friday told Iron Man. Iron Man pondered the idea. I'm not sure. Just a whole company to clean up? For cleanup organizations? Iron Man responded, but then his eyes widened as he got an idea. That's it. According to the hero book I had, Iron Man had a technology-based company. The environmental cleanup thing could be a branch of the company, but the question is, what should I call it? Iron Man then sits down and ponders the idea. Sir, I have a question. Iron Man stops pondering and hears it out. So the body you're using to create this company is named Tony Stark. Maybe you should call it Stark Industries. You know what? Maybe you're right, Iron Man responded, with a smile underneath his mask. We cut to 6 months later. Iron Man's messing around with a new and way more advanced computer he bought. Or somewhat made. He bought some of the computers but made it himself. He then thinks to himself, I hope it doesn't backfire. Iron Man then plugs the keyboard into his armor, and as the loading screen appears, Iron Man crosses his hands. But as the computer finishes loading, Iron Man transfers back to Izuku. You there? Izuku waits in silence before groaning. Oh man, it didn't work. Before Izuku can sit down, he hears a voice. I wouldn't be saying that, boss. Friday spoke. Izuku then smiled. Yes, it worked! Izuku throws his hands in the air. Now that you've been transferred to my computer, I no longer need to transform into Iron Man if I need you. He then gives this small earpiece. And with the earpiece, all my forms will have access to you. Izuku then puts the earpiece in his head and it soon lights up. Can you hear me, boss? Friday questioned. Izuku just smiles. Yes, I can hear you. Izuku then smiles and puts on his jacket and walks out of his room. As he walks out, he sees his mom watching a news report. Many companies have been complaining about a new company undercutting their competition. Some months ago, construction of a building named Stark Towers began. The building seemed to belong to a brand new company named Stark Industries, which seems to be a tech company. Many other companies have been complaining due to the fact that Stark Industries sells better equipment for lower prices. They may despise him, but people seem to be welcoming Stark Industries with open arms. As the reporter ends, Inko notices Izuku. "Oh, Izuku, I didn't see you there," Inko spoke. "Hey, Mom. I have some stuff I need to deal with, so I gotta go." As Izuku waves goodbye to his mom, he walks outside. Izuku looks around to see if anybody's looking or watching. There's nobody around, so he soon jumps off the wall that was meant to stop people from falling and dying since he was in a apartment building and pretty high up. But as Izuku jumps over the wall, before he hits the ground, he transforms. Miles Morales can be seen swinging through the city. Miles is incredibly into music, which affects Izuku when he transforms. When Izuku is Miles, he swings around while listening to music. As Miles swings, he stops when he sees something that catches his eye. Miles then swung towards the side of the building, which had almost no people around it, and noticed the wall completely blank. Miles then remembered one of the rules of his powers. While transforming, you might gain a trait or habit of transformation. Another one of Miles' traits was that he was into art, mainly graffiti/murals. Mario then pulls out a can of spray paint, and a couple of hours later, Miles can be seen swinging away. But somewhere else, there are 3 dozen people taking a picture of the mural Miles just made. In the picture, it shows a hero saving a woman with a camera pointing and filming him. But in the hero's shadow, there is a little boy crying and being ignored. It's meant to represent the idea that heroes only care about helping people. It's meant to represent the idea that heroes don't care about helping people, and the only thing they care about is fame and money that comes with it. Boss, it seems that people have noticed your art and seriously sharing it. Friday began scrolling and reading the comments. Some of the people uploaded. Most were saying it had a deep message, or them trying to figure out the message. Wait, really? Miles asked, his eyes widened. He then coughed. That's not important, Friday. What is the most important is the message. Also, I knew transferring you to my computer would be a good idea. Now all my transformations are about an AI backing him up. Miles stopped talking as he sees Stark's building. It is still under construction, so it's surrounded by cranes and construction workers. There's a little huge tarp on the side of the building, covering the unfinished part of the building. Luckily, the penthouse, aka Izuku's future home, is finished, and Miles goes invisible and enters it. As Miles enters, an hologram appears. Miles then transforms to Iron Man. Friday, show me progress on all my current projects. As Friday then pulled up a bunch of windows, Iron Man doesn't notice that somebody is watching him from the shadows. The environmental cleanup project is near completion, but we currently lack a name, sir. Friday then pulls up a picture location Izuku wants to clean up. How about ECO, Environment Cleanup Operation? Wonderful name, sir. I will look for more employees with a history of environmental cleanup. Volunteering. This reminds me, boss. The other 2 projects have been finished. I then put an image of a strange patch and another one of a disc. Iron then zooms on a patch. Great, the patches will be useful. Just imagine, all you need to do is plant this on somebody, and over a couple of seconds, a chemical in the patches will be absorbed through the skin and knock out anybody. It would be good for self-defense items or people with weak quirks. I want to install it as soon as possible. And then pulls out a picture of the disc. With this disc, whenever there's a fire, all you need to do is throw it into the fire, and boom, it will open up and shoot foam in every direction. And with chemicals in the foam, it will expand and put out the flames quicker. I also made it smell like strawberries, so the smoke smell disappears. Iron Man explained. You see, Iron Man needs ways to make more money. So why not make items or sell items? For example, like the knockout patches or the extinguisher discs. But that's only some of the things Iron Man has built for the company. After a while, Iron Man looks outside and sees that the day has been maybe halfway into the afternoon. Iron Man then checks the time and sees it's 4:46 p.m. I think that's enough work for today, because it's been working all day and it's tedious. Since its time limit is 10 minutes, once in a while he needs to transform back to normal and let the power recharge. So he gets ready to leave, but before he hears something coming from a nearby wall. Must be construction workers. Iron Man thought to himself, but then he realized something. Wait a second. Shouldn't we finish with this part already? So why are the people up here? He then goes to check out the noise. As he looks around, he sees a paint bucket, crushed, and white paint spattered everywhere. What the heck? He then hears a creak and he readies himself. Who goes there? As he points to his poster. He turns the corner and sees a pigeon. Oh, just a pigeon. But wait, what crushed the paint cans? As Iron Man bends down to get a better look at the pigeon, he hears thumping from the wall. And out of nowhere, the wall explodes and sends Iron Man flying through another wall, into the room behind it. As Iron Man tries to get up, he groans. He tries to see what caused the explosion, only to see missiles coming at him. Some of the construction workers are giving their leave. Hey, Mr. Uraka! I think we've done everything possible today. And we end the day? The worker asked. Before the burst can respawn, they hear the explosion. Before anybody can ask what was that, another explosion is heard, and you see an explosion coming from the top floor. But like last time, you don't even get a chance to ask because something lands and smashes onto the nearby truck full of building materials. Iron Man groans, but as everybody looks at him, something behind him lands, and everybody could hear it. As Iron Man and everybody turns their head to look at it, they see a giant robot. Similar to the Iron Man armor, but grey, bulkier, 8 feet tall, and finally is covered with weapons. What are you looking at? Run! Iron Man shouted. Everybody started to run. Iron Man then flies up and uses his shoulder-mounted tank missiles and shoots the knockoff Iron Man suit. But they do nothing to it, because the knockoff Iron Man just pushes through it and grabs Iron Man's leg. Round and round we go, the knockoff Iron Man spoke. He then let go and threw Iron Man into a temporary wall meant to keep people out of the construction site. A family is driving home when Iron Man lands in the middle of the street, which makes the car swerve and almost crash. Luckily they recover and keep driving. Who are you, and how did you cover my armor? Tony shouted as the knockoff Iron Man approached. My name isn't important. This surprised Iron Man because he hasn't spoke at all. Well, he has spoke, but he didn't expect him to respond. But also his name sounds kind of robotic and echoey. But the man keeps the knockoff Iron Man speaks again. But considering you're gonna die soon, I might as well tell you my name. Just for sympathy. The knockoff Iron Man then points his hand at Iron Man, and the Gatling gun opens on his wrist starts to spin. You can call me Iron Monger. Iron Monger then starts shooting his Gatling gun. This made people who were watching run for their life. Iron Man starts flying and dodging the bullets. Iron Man pointed his repulsor and shot it at the Gatling gun, which broke it. Iron Man then pointed his other hand and started to shoot a bunch of tiny missiles. No wait, Iron Monger. Iron Monger then points his other hand and starts shooting a bunch of tiny missiles. Iron Man then uses his pulsar to blow up the missiles before they hit him. This creates a smoke screen, but then a car is thrown by Iron Monger through the smoke. Iron Man sees people in it, so he catches it. As he sits down the horrified family, Iron Monger comes out of nowhere and punches Iron Man, sending him flying. Iron Monger then charges at him. Iron Man tries to get up, take a breath. Friday, send all power to Unibeam now! Iron Man shouted. Iron Man's chest began to glow. As soon as the Iron Monger was within 4 feet of Iron Man stood up and shot a massive beam from his chest, which sent Iron Monger flying down the street. Boss, power at 60%. Friday then showed at an energy bar that has gone down. Two cops were driving after what was loud. The two cops were driving. They heard a loud noise. But as they arrived, they see a robot crash into a building in front of them. Iron Monger then stood up, using a car to help him stand up, which left a massive hand dent on the car. One of the officers grabbed his walkie-talkie. Sir? I think we might need a hero, the cop spoke into the walkie-talkie. A man with 2 large bird wings can be seen flying to the sky. This is the pro hero Hawks. As he's flying to the sky, flying to the city, he receives a call. What's up? He answered. We have a fight between 2 dangerous and powerful individuals. Hawks then hears this and smiles. What's their quirks and location? They're fighting next to the Stark Tower construction site. Hawks then starts flying to the location. We're not sure about their quirks, but they look like 2 robots fighting each other. Hawks then make a confused expression. What? Iron Monger and Iron Man can be seen. Iron Man is flying around Iron Monger like an annoying bee and shooting Iron Monger in the face. Iron Monger is swatting him and trying to punch him, but he's missing. Stop dodging, you damn bug! He then finally grabs Iron Man by the leg. He then grabs him and tries to crush him. Iron Man starts to struggle as his torso begins to crush. Iron Monger starts to chuckle. I'm going to enjoy crushing you, Iron Monger spoke. Out of nowhere, a bunch of fitters impales Iron Monger's armor. Both Iron Man and Iron Monger turn their heads to see Hawk. Somebody tell me what's going on here, Hawk spoke. Well, you see, it's a standard fighting between a devilish phantom hero and fighting his knockoff villain. Now, if you don't mind me, Friday flares! Iron Man shouted, and a bunch of flares popped out of his leg. Which shoots up. Iron Monger Banner starts like glitch. Iron Man's chest then starts to glow as he shoots a unit beam. He then gets shot. He then gets sent flying to the close range. But as he gets up, he sees one of Iron Monger's arms that's been burnt and sparking. Another one is missing a few fingers. Iron Monger then charges Iron Man. Hey, we're not finished talking, Hulk spoke. He then flies after Iron Monger, shoots 2 feathers at the back of Iron Man's knee. It makes him fall to his knees. At that moment, Iron Man charges at Iron Monger and delivers a right hook. Iron Monger tries to swing at him, but Iron Man just dodges and flies above him. I'm going to assume the big guy is the bad guy, Hawks spoke. Then flew next to Iron Man. Geez, what made it obvious? Iron Man responded. Hawk gives him an annoyed look. He's starting to get up. Hawks then turned his head to see Iron Monger start to stand up. Look, listen, I barely started getting crushed by that guy, and I'm in armor. Hawk then gives Iron Man a nervous look. Noted. But they hear a noise. What the heck? That's when both Hawks and Iron Man see smoke coming from Iron Monger as he starts to fly. We can't let him get airborne, Hawks shouted. Get ready to use your feathers when he sees Iron Monger lift his arm. Iron Man then tackled Hawks out of the way. As Iron Monger used his Gatling gun, he has a minigun on his arm. He has a minigun in his arm? Hawk's jaw dropped after almost getting shot. That's when a bunch of things pop out of his back. It gets worse, Iron Man stated. And Hawk started to fly as a dozen missiles shot out of his back. 6 after Hawks and 6 after Iron Man. Hawk started using his feathers to blow up the missiles before they reached them, and Iron Man did the same with his repulsors. As the smoke disappeared, you see Iron Monger start to spin with his arms out. Oh no, Iron Man. Oh no, Iron Man spoke. Iron Monger then started shooting bullets as he spun around, creating a bullet tornado. Hawk then creates a shield with his feathers that deflect the bullets, but Hawk sees Iron Man trying to dodge it, but still getting hit by a third of the bullets in his direction. Hawk then shoots a bunch of feathers and hits the Gatling gun, which jams it. Iron Man charges Iron Monger and grabs one of his arms. Iron Monger tries to grab him, but then Hawk grabs the other one. Iron Man elbows the Gatling gun twice before it breaks it off. Hawk as well creates a blade made of feathers and jams it into Iron Monger's other gun, and then pries the gun off. I'm gonna clip your wings, you damn pigeon! Iron Man shouted. He then swings his arm with Iron Man still attached to it and smacks Hawks away from him, and Iron Man falls off as well. Iron Monger tries to charge at Hawks, but Iron Man regains his balance and charges at Iron Monger. He then latches onto his back and scans armor. I hope this isn't important. He then rips out a box and crushes it. Iron Monger then rips Iron Man off and threw him to the side. Boss, warning! Power levels are going down. The suit must be damaged, which is causing energy issues. Friday shouted. Friday then showed the energy bar is getting low and shows schematic the suit and all areas has been damaged. As Iron Man regains his composure, Iron Monger tries to shoot him with more missiles, only for them to spark and jam. Iron Monger then looks at the box Iron Man is holding and gets angry. You destroyed my navigation device for my missiles. Iron Man then smokes. What are you gonna do? Throw a tantrum? Iron Monger then shrieks and charges Iron Man. They keep flying and higher and higher. So high that Hawk stops. I can't fly past the clouds. I can't handle the cold and limited oxygen, Hawk shouted. Iron Man and Iron Monger kept flying high and higher until they both stopped. Iron Man glared at Iron Monger. What's your deal? Why did you attack my house? Why are you attacking me? Iron Monger stared at Iron Man for a second. Isn't it obvious? A hero can't have this without a villain, Iron Monger shouted. Iron Man then charges Iron Monger, but Iron Man keeps shooting him and hitting the face. As he's about to punch him, Iron Monger sees him and gets ready to swing, but Iron Man then flips over Iron Monger. My scan tells me you will survive this. Iron Man then uses his Unibeam. Boss, you can't! You won't have any power left! Iron Man doesn't listen though. He uses his Unibeam as he destroys the backside of the robo. He struggles to fly as he starts to stutter. Then both Iron Man and Iron Monger eyes go dim as they start to fall. I don't see them anywhere. Hawk is trying to scan the area and looking for Iron Monger and Iron Man. His eyes widen. What the heck? Hawk then sees Iron Man and Iron Monger falling out of the sky. He flies as quickly as he can and catches Iron Man, but Iron Monger keeps on falling until he lands on a nearby road, leaving a giant hole. Hawk was about to check on him, but then the concrete and asphalt underneath it started to break, and Iron Monger fell to the ground and into the sewage system. Dang, Hawks didn't look at Iron Man. You alright, man? Yeah, am I right? Hawk then lands. You should probably check on Iron Monger. Iron Man told Hawks. Hawks then starts to walk toward the hole that Iron Monger created. As he went to go check out Iron Monger, his eyes widen. He's gone. Hawk just stares at the hole, sees nothing there. She turns around to check on Iron Man, sees that he's gone too. What the? He disappeared too? Hawk shouted. He then rubbed the back of his head. But guys, that's the end for part 2. Tell me what you guys think. And tell me if you guys want more, subscribe, like, and share. And please comment. I like when you guys comment, and it's better for the algorithm or something like that. But please comment. But for now, peace out, goodbye. And I guess, hope you guys liked the video. Goodbye.